Okay, little unboxing video for the Sunlu S4 filler drive. Just came in today from Amazon UK. So definitely a big box here. There's that a bit. Let's just do this because I'm one of those OCD people with boxes and packing. There we go. Yeah, definitely very well taped up. So there we go. Yeah, and that's Frank in the background. So taking the big bit out. Oh yeah, it's rather big after all, but it's not as wide as I thought it was going to be. So this is a good thing. Very well packed. Plenty of packing material around it. Anything else in here? Nothing hiding. Okay. So let's put that up here for a moment. Because my office, as I've told a lot of people, it's not as big as some of these lovely workshops and studios that people have, but it's mine, and that's how it is. So, let's have a look at what we have here. So, there we go. Looks very smooth. Okay, I can already see 4 PTFE connectors here on the top. Very nice. Means that I can easily hook the PT. Oh, and it's got 2 more in the back. Do we have 2 more on this? Yes. So we have up to 8 possible PTFE line connectors that you can choose which direction you would like your PTFE welding tube to go. Obviously allowing you to feed from the sides, feed from the top, you know, whatever accommodates. Or if you have one dryer feeding a printer set over there and a printer set over here, it can accommodate at least within the 4 spools. What we got here? Yep, okay, so this is how we open it. It's got latches. There we go, yep, okay. Yeah, let's just have a look down inside. So I'm gonna bring this off the little stand that I've got it on. Here we go. So here we go inside of it. As you can see, there's rollers. Now these feel rubberized, so that's good. They're obviously independent. Looks like a fair size. Let's see if I can measure that. So it looks like realistically each spool can be up to about 75 millimeters for that. So that's really good. That's definitely very good. Obviously we have our paperwork. There we go, our little paperwork. Let me just, yeah. Obviously it doesn't do autofocus on this thing clearly. But yeah, there's that. Nice. Okay, so they did actually provide some additional PTFE. Not very big, but 2 pieces there. Looks like there's some additional PTFE pieces here. Let's have a look in that. Yep, okay. And that's nice. Okay, so it's got some locks for the PTFE connectors that you can put in each of them. Some little plugs so that you can seal the chamber. So that's very good. Obviously 8. There we are. I don't know if we can... Yeah, there we go. We should be able to see that. Let me just focus that in up close. Yeah, there we go. Very nice. That way we can plug up the unused PTFEs. Alright, so let's go ahead and get that back down. Put that back on the stand. There we go. Yeah, still getting used to this little gimbal. Works pretty good though. So yeah, obviously there's our PTFE and accessories to seal up the PTFE tube holes for your filament feeds. As you can see, it's definitely, yep, and then remember, here's our outlet, SUNLU UK plug, and a 2-prong, so that means it's obviously not a grounded system, even though they have a metal plug there. Alright, let's pull that out. Okay, now that's very, very interesting. Let's have a look at the other side. Okay, so what we have, and again I'll try and get the camera where you can all see this. Right, here we go. Okay, so as you can see here, there is a fan on that side that blows toward those two spools. They have another identical one on this side. Just laying that down there. There we go. Another one on this side. So clearly the ceramic heaters are down below all of that. There appears to be this sensor for the humidity. Let's see if I can focus in on that. There we go. Okay, so that looks like that's where they measure the humidity, so that you can supposedly set it to regulate the humidity in there. That looks like you can open it, so that suggests that you should be able to clean things occasionally in there if you need to. That's very, very good. This is the front of it, not yet powered as you can tell, but yeah. Yeah, definitely I'm no camera wizard. Definitely I should not go into the movie industry. Pardon my jokes about things. I obviously am just doing my own little take on this anyway. Because there's been a lot of talk, a lot of controversy as to people's beliefs on how good it is, or should people get it, etc. There's been some nightmare stories and some good ones, so it's kind of a hit and miss. Obviously, if it's as good as they're saying, then obviously it might be worth the investment. So here we have on the back, simplicity, power switch, connection, and it says rated power 330 watts. So this is going to pull almost as much as your hotbed. In that regard, in some cases. So bear that in mind depending on where you're planning on plugging it in, please. This way you don't have any blowouts and fires in people's homes due to overloading of the circuits. So there's that plugged in. Let's plug that into there. And Houston, we have power. Or do we? Oh. Let's see here. Oh. Ah, there we are. Right, okay. So, some basics that it has. As you can tell, I'm winging this. So I do apologize. Let's just get some paperwork open. Yep. Okay, so they have the various little guides, obviously in this regard. Let's just zoom in on that. Oh my, there we go. Okay, so obviously they're saying 40 to 50 for everything up to PETG, 50 to 55 for PVB to right on up to PMMA. That sounds a bit low if I'm honest. And then nylon and polycarbonate 60 to 70. Now this may be based on their own brand of filament, so you need to keep that in mind when you're going to be looking at setting the temperatures for your own filament. Otherwise you will end up either not drying it sufficiently, or you will end up welding your filament together. This is the same advice on any type of dryer system, especially if it has an automated system in it. You need to know your filament. Now let's just see. Kind of, yeah, and that's definitely nice and roasty inside of there. That was rather quick. They did say it would heat up rather quickly. Okay, so set that for 50. That let me do that. Okay, so that sets that. So it's going to set that for 50. I'm going to guess. Okay, so you can switch between Fahrenheit and Celsius depending on where you are in the world. Same point. Let's just see. Okay, so if we're doing there, what does that offer? Ah, so I have to hit set again to come to here. PETG, TPU, ABS, PA, which for those that don't know what that is, that's nylon or polyamide. Anyway, so PC polycarbonate, and as you can see, it's switching the temperatures, or at least I think you'll be able to see that. Nope, you're not able to see that. So let me just refocus that for you. Do apologize for the absolutely crap video equipment, but hey, what can I say? I'm not the big proverbial YouTuber as per se, but there we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and just detach this for a moment. This way we can get right down to it. Let's see if that'll let me. Okay, so there's our display. Obviously, if I hit the set, lets me set the temperature I want manually. This will let me then change Celsius and Fahrenheit. This I'm not sure because it's not telling me. Oh, I see. It's the LEDs. Okay, that's pretty cool. You can turn them on, turn them off, make it animated. You can see there. Or you can just turn them off. Now, set again, obviously now lets us set, you know, the material type. So PLA, notice the temperature, polycarbonate, nylon, ABS. Now for me that seems a bit low. I would have thought 60, 65-ish. TPU seems about right, but I would still say probably around 60. PETG definitely would have been about 60 for that, 60 to 65, depending on your brand. Once again, this might be fine for Sunlu branded PETG. And then of course, you know, after if you leave it, it'll just move on. And then of course PLA 50. Most people would probably do that around 45. Obviously for other brands of filament. Now relative humidity inside the box, obviously as you can see has now dropped to like 20. Just to give a comparison here in the room, obviously you can see my average temperature. I mean, it's obviously a little warm in here now because we had the heating on earlier and it goes all upstairs, but 53% you know humidity, 53% humidity in this room, and it's just roughly climbing because I pulled it off of the shelf. I have seen as high as 85. So, you know, obviously if it can drop that humidity on average quickly, you know, I see it trying to jump up again, but that's a lower temperature. I wonder if because there was a trick I've noticed that with some dryers, if you open the lids to let the moisture out, that it has brought out of the air. Just do both sides just to be good measure there. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's hi. Yeah, that's me. Anyway, but yeah, there's your unboxing. Obviously, it is a fairly simplistic thing. The light goes out after a while, so you have to kind of touch one of the buttons to wake it up if you want to see it again at that point. But yeah, full set of instructions. So far seems to be pretty good. I'll give it some run-throughs over the next couple of days with some typical materials that I would normally use. There we go. And just see how it goes. And there you go. That's the Sunlu S4 Filadryer. And it's a beast. Thank you very much for watching. Okay, we're in the middle of printing some ABS. Obviously, that's where we're at now. I'm happy with that number. It's the only spool in there because I'm just trying in single mode at the moment. Just give it a test because I needed a part anyway. But yeah, you can't quite see the spool. That's a bit of an issue, obviously, if you need to be able to tell how much filament's left, and you don't want to have to open the door on the top. This is if I shine a light in through, so some chamber lights might have been a good idea, but I think I can come up with a way to actually do that without causing any modification to the case itself. Otherwise, so far so good. And there's the ABS coming out of that one. Okay, here's a small bonus. You'll notice that over here there's the little MO2. That's basically the method of operation in the second. And what it looks for is whether or not this humidity goes above a set threshold. Now I've set it for 40, so if it tries to go above 40, it'll bring it right back down to there, yeah, or below, and maintain this temperature doing so. Right now, obviously you can see the lights are solid and steady. When the heaters come on, these become animated, so it's a quick, easy way to tell whether or not it's actually drying. This is actually quite good because it's only idling according to the watt meter that is built into the smart plug that you may have seen previous in the video. It idles around 6 watts, which is about average for a low power device just sitting idle. This means it is using PWM. When I change the temperature upward and it is required to bring on the heaters, yes, it can peak anywhere up to 350 watts or so, but then you see it drop back down to like 100 and less, so it is using PWM. It will be energy efficient. Well, first, yep, not often that you get to see me in front of a camera, because I'm usually rather camera shy. I don't mind doing videos and little things, but I don't always get on with seeing myself, as per se. But needless to say, this was my take on the Sunlu S4 Filadryer, which I bought from Amazon UK for £139.99. For me, it is definitely worth what I spent. Overall power consumption, yes, when you first set it off, it is quite high. But the fact that I can set it for humidity level, so I've got it set for 40% humidity. Obviously, it'll come on, bring the chamber humidity back down to like 20 or less, and then shut off, and it idles around 6 watts. And
I actually sat there listening for it throughout the course of it. I think it came on twice during the course of a day, and it only ran for maybe a minute or two. So I have to say, it definitely is not the power hungry beast that people are going to obviously say, oh, but you know, it's 350 watts, that's a lot, you know, versus my little 50 watt, you know. But the fact that I can keep the filaments dry in my very humid environment, obviously, as some of you may know, I do get up to 85% humidity sometimes in my office. Right now I've got about 57% because I've got a small heater running at the moment. But yeah, ultimately, to each their own. You know, for me, the build quality of it is really solid. The fact that it takes hours before that internal temperature and humidity drops enough for it to obviously worry about, or internal humidity goes up high enough for it to obviously, you know, turn itself back on. So you can set it for, you know, keeping a constant temperature or keeping a constant humidity in there, and it will do it. And the fact that it takes so long means that they've got a pretty good coverage. The fact that there's also two little trays at the bottom, which I'm going to be putting in these lovely little inserts that I found on printables. It helps to make sure that your desiccant beads, if they're 2mm beads, will not have a chance of falling down through the grooves in it and going into the machine further. But please print these out of ABS or ASA or higher. It needs to be a high temperature material because that chamber does have the ability of reaching at least 70°C. You do not want something to obviously melt and drop desiccant beads all over the inside of your machine, because that would be a nightmare to get them out. But anyway, yeah, overall, the interface was very easy to understand. I didn't even have to read the manual. Yes, go ahead, ladies, say it. Men don't read manuals. We just get in, you know. But needless to say, that's usually my first test of a product is, can I figure it out without picking up the book? Because a lot of people will do exactly that. You know, they will get the thing and say, oh, that looks right, and that looks right, oh, I can work this out, and they don't pick up the manual. And that is a sign of a good product. It's that if a person can look at it and work out exactly how to set things without touching the user guide, then it was a well-designed product as far as the user interface and functionality. Maybe that appeals to somebody as a selling point for it. In fact, you can get 4 spools if you have a multicolored printer. So whether it's a Bamboo A1, a Bamboo Mini, you know, whatever, and you're not wanting to go in the normal means, you like I thought about this the other day. You know, as we know, you know, and that's kind of off topic, but like the Bamboo A1 Mini, it has the AMS where the spools are just exposed. I can't see any reason why you can't put one of these filament dryers to the side, PTFE tubes obviously out the top, right to the extruders. I cannot see any way. You do not have to hang those spools from the provided point where it would bring it into the extruder. And the fact that my little Prusa can pull the filament all the way down through a meter of tubing, all the way down to its extruder, means it doesn't have to be an overly powerful one. So it should be able to handle that, I would suspect. But if anybody wants to try that later, by all means, get yourself one of the Filadryers and obviously test it out. Or if you're one of those big influencers out there who've already gotten this, if you have an A1 Mini, please try that out, test it, you know, ping me, let me know. I'm curious about that because I do not have any Bamboo equipment. Sadly, they're a bit on the upside for me for pricing and that. Plus, obviously, I just built Frank. So, but yeah, I'll leave links obviously for the Filadryer S4. You know, both on Amazon and the Sunlu website for those that are curious and say, hey, you know, I'd like to have one of those, and a link to the printables, a link for that little tray for the desiccant inside the chamber. I think it is a really good product, at least for me. Hopefully, it will work for you. Thank you for watching. More to come. I will, as I come across different things or try different materials, or if I, you know, print something I think is really cool, you know, then obviously I'll post about it. if you have any thoughts, suggestions, so forth, by all means, obviously, again, ping me, send a message, put a comment, what have you. You know, would be nice if obviously I had a few more subscribers, but it's not something I'm going to sit there and beg people for, because that's not my goal. I'd like to see people get something from these videos, hopefully, to make their enjoyment to 3D printing the way it should be, hassle free and a lot of fun. Anyway, have a great day, everybody, and enjoy.